That's 5 years. 5 years straight that I've done with no pharmaceutical medications, with zero help from the pharmacia, which is pharmacia, although the first 2 years I did take supplements from GNC, Muscle Tech, and Universal Vitamins, and a bunch of different man-made supplements, because I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to transform. I don't know what was going on back then, but the God, quote unquote, within inside of me had other plans. And I didn't realize this. I didn't need all those supplements, all that modified stuff, the protein processed and all this other stuff. I can get the same nutrients from the earth if I study and do my research. But if I don't know anything about what God put on this earth for me, then I'm going to buy whatever it is I see on TV because that person's pushing it and they look good. So I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to go buy the little thing that it says. But see, nobody can stick to their diet. Well, I did because of my boot camp experience. I know how to have a structure, and I know how to eat at the same time every day if it's only twice a day, and if that's all you're going to get. Y'all have never had that experience of being forced to eat only twice a day. And don't say, well, I'm glad. Well, you don't have that experience, so that's why you can't stop doing what you do. My experience is what built me. But anyways, coming into this, I didn't really need all those supplements. After I got the most trafficked articles because of the alcoholism on muscleandfitnessandbodybuilding.com. And in the process of doing that, I eventually did a couple more transformations without the supplements, without all that stuff. But I had to, the doors were closing because it's like this. God, this world doesn't want something that doesn't buy anything in the stores and that communicates with mouth and uses a plant for help. And they don't want that story going nowhere, because all you'd have to do is grow that shit in your backyard and take it like medicine, and that's it. And you don't have to, and grow all your vegetables and do all that stuff. You don't have to go buy all this crazy shit that everybody's forcing you into through everything. That's another story. But my whole point is this, I have 5 years, 2 years with some of the protein stuff, but 3 for the past 3 years with nothing. I have cut the TV. I don't take pharmaceutical medications. I'm not saying I'm anti-TV. I'm just saying that's a faculty that I don't need that. And fantasy and la-la and making my own imagination upland. See, so over time, what I have done is I have pulled myself out of this man-made, materialistic society, and my brain, my mind is more sound than many people put together around me. But the many people around me, what happens is since they've been in the same spot for decades, it scares them, truthfully. It's like, but see, what they don't understand, it's not their fault. They ain't never had no experience. Nobody within our business, in the family business, has had any experience outside of that business at all, except me. You've got one other guy, but that was 30 years ago. That has nothing to do with now. And it's hard to see and to say, you know what? Maybe I'm not doing something the right way. Things are not, because if you ask yourself this about that business, if every business modeled themselves after what y'all do over there, would we even survive in society? No, we wouldn't. It would crumble. So therefore, everything's negated that you say or do. Because here's the deal, is every decision that I make, if everybody in this world made this same decision that I'm about to make and do what I'm about to do, is it going to destroy humanity, or is it going to help society? See, that's where I have to think now. Can any of you think, not just y'all, but everybody worldwide? No, you can't, because you're so far up the phone's ass and every fucking thing else that it's, I'm talking about whatever I want to, and it's garbage. And it's garbage. Your experience is nothing. is my whole point. And I get into this with doctors and lawyers and all of them. Your experience does not weigh my experience. Your knowledge of Jesuit institutions outweighs me, but that's knowledge that's not, you can't take that shit to the other side with you. See, my experience, I can take it to the other side with me and ask questions and say, why did I go through this? But I know the answers. It's to help others. But my mind is what's sound and in tune. And that's my whole thing to every one of you around me and all around the world, working beside me too. I challenge you to cut all that shit. Your life's not good as it is anyways. And that's my whole point is this. My mama never gave up on me. And I feel like it's part of my journey to not give up on her. Because alcoholism has it's nothing compared to enabling and controlling and, everything else that comes along with the typical parent and then the spoiling of the child. Because what happened is I never got in a lot of trouble for my shit. And I didn't, and then the enabling was large. But the whole thing is I'm out of the picture, but the same enabling and controlling behavior is there. And it is. And there's nothing y'all can say about that shit because it is. Because for 5 years, it's been me and my mom every morning before 9 a.m. Her telling me I blast her, and it's like we have to sit down and talk about this. But nobody, she runs. I get blamed. I get upset. And it's like me and her are the ones arguing before anybody else gets there. So what does that tell you? It's me and her there. Here comes everybody else. We're right, you're wrong. We're going to let her just keep doing it. It's like this. I'm not putting my mom on blast or my family. But this is my journey, and if I don't talk about this, I'm going to lose everything. But I asked my mom the other day, and I said, listen, can I ask you a question? You've been doing this for 30 years now, every day, the same thing. What difference is an alcoholic that does the same thing every day, expecting things to change and nothing ever changes? It just actually gets worse. I said, because what's happened here is your alcoholism has become your business, and you are a Christian. So where's your Christian values when you say the other day to me, I love this place, I love what I do? And it's like, do you love what you do, or do you love being in control? Do you love doing what you do because you know if you're not there, things will crumble because nobody has learned how to do anything? Do you actually want to finish your Christian so-called life doing that, enabling people, doing the same thing that you did for me, but for many others? They say, if you just leave, and it's like, I never come in the front door, I never come in, and I never bring anybody. Who's always in there? Y'all are. You're always in there. If you take that away, then you'll struggle. And that's my whole point. Y'all are my family. Y'all have to go through some shit first to see if you can actually handle life. And you don't do that. Why? I said, Mom, do you want to finish 30 more years if you've got it? 20 of doing this? Of working more than anybody because you don't trust them? And she'll say, and they'll say, that's not what she's saying. And it's like, you don't have to say it. Your actions speak on how you're actually feeling. The hardest thing to do is the right thing. It's the hardest thing to do. I watch my sister sit out there and struggle every week with the schedule. Every week. Wondering, and then asking people, hey, can you work this? And then people are calling in, and the only thing they got is, I'll leave. You leave all the time. And it's like, I'm a professional at everything that I do. And anybody that's professional would leave too, but you're my family. That's my only lifeline. That restaurant, in 5 years, we could have had a fucking nonprofit set up, rehab and everything with the money that we have not rang up for, that has been missed, that is addict behavior, and for the food that we have given away, and for the business that we miss on going out and getting it. Catering jobs, doing all kinds of other stuff. Breakfast, Sundays, sitting down and, restructuring schedules and everything, allowing people to say, this is when I'm working, and more people calling in all the time. The phone use is just to another level. Texting and, not paying attention, not just doing anything. Nothing positive at all. Not one thing. And that's success. And then once you go back, if that's all y'all have ever known, then of course that's success. But can you take that same success with you and can it be successful to help people? And the answer is no. You know, it's time for this. I wish I've gone to Al-Anon. I have went in there and I have said, man, why? It's like I've gone and talked to therapists. I've done a lot of different stuff talking about my family because I'll have 5 years, you know, in a few days, and not one person has even went to anything, nothing at all. And see, that's why I'd relapsed before. But see, I'm actually on fire. I've actually studied the brain and behavior and deceptive detection and history and antiquity and everything, and why we're here and why we got addicted and why you can't stop what you're doing and why my mom's in the situation and she's in, why my sister and why my family and why the restaurant is in the situation that it's in. It's nobody's fault, but we have to recognize how we got into that situation. And the only way to do that is to say, Mom, it's up to you. It's up to you to either finish your days on never looking at the Lord, because you always, I love this place, and it's like you love that place more than you do Christ. And see, when I said that the other day to you, you didn't like it. It's because I got you, okay? I'm not the same person, and that goes to my whole family and everybody. I am something else. I'm a shell. This is a shell. You know, God within me, Christ, has been unlocked, has been opened. You can't say that about you. Even the preacher man, you can't. You know, y'all's whole perception and reality comes from TV and the typical thing you hear, you repeat it. Newspapers. You know, y'all have went through life never asking why. You obey. Just like everybody else. You obey. You learn that shit, and it's just like this. Some of y'all have never had any trouble. You've never had a drug or alcohol problem, but you know everything. And y'all scare me, the ones right next to me, you know who I'm talking about. You scare me more than anything because, see, our experience is actually what builds us. That's why we can see things in a different manner, is because of the darkness that we have gone through. And seeing you're in darkness right now because it's pride. You know, and I'm offering my mom this. It's like, Mom, find somewhere. We're going to help you. I've got people. We're going to sit down and take a vacation, as they would call mine. Wouldn't that be something else, that we get my mom somewhere, and she's got to decide, though? I've already played it over in my head. It will never happen, and she'll play the cards out and die, and I'll be at the funeral, and I'll say, you know what? Y'all blame me for saying putting her in the grave, but y'all fucking never left that place at one time. You were there more. You're there at the place than you are at the house. It's that or that, and that's it. We're not learning. We're not growing. We're not doing anything constructive. We're not doing shit. We're just like the rest of society. You know, it's hard to, and see, and if you've never had any kind of experience, you will be burning right now. And it's like, we have to look at this and say, we've got to do a trial run. You know, we have to see if y'all have enough humility and pride to sit back and say, all right, Matt, let's do it. But this is it. I ain't working no harder. I ain't getting paid no more money. And that's the attitude. That's no different than the people I've done community service with when they sit there and say, I ain't getting paid for this. And it's like, no, you're not, but I'm getting paid spiritually. I'm getting built big time. And see, and that's the whole deal, is that means if I ain't getting paid no more, then you're all about money. That's all you are. You're not in it to help us. You're just there to have money. You're there to just fucking just squeeze Donna. And hopefully that's not the case. But I think it is for some of you, because you do. Your work ethic speaks volumes, you know. And there ain't nothing y'all can say about my work ethic. Nothing. Even drunk, y'all couldn't work as hard as me. Nobody could. Anybody that works around me and that has worked with me and has experience around me will tell you. He works his ass off. He loves what he does. You know, and all my experience of doing community service and stuff makes you appreciate things a whole lot more. Losing every fucking thing makes you appreciate money a whole lot more, because we're not supposed to have money, but you're driven on money. But you talk about being rich, but you don't want to put the work in to get rich. You want to be a fucking millionaire closet guy. Yeah, I'm going to go in here and wish for $1 million, but it never happened. You know, you got to work for that. I'm willing to do this. See, I want Mom to go get some help, if she does. And this is what we can do. And for 1 year, I think I'm owed that. Not only have y'all had 30 years to get somewhere, you've had actually the last 5 years to feed off of my energy, and you've refused to do that. And in the process of that, our manager that has worked his ass off and that has put up with enough shit, what he can do is I'm going to offer him, we'll sit down and restructure this next year, but he's basically, let's just say hypothetically, for the next year, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with him and his wife, and that's it. Same position and everything. And then with my family, we'll sit down and we'll say, all right, we're going to start doing Sundays though, because y'all don't do shit anyways. We're going to actually make money on Sundays instead of using it and throwing money away and having parties and all that shit that never gets accounted for and everything. So, and then we can look into some breakfast opening earlier, and then I'll get the catering going. But what my family has to do, basically my niece, nephew, and my sister, is y'all have to sit there, and the manager is you have to learn everything that we have. Prices, all of it. You have to learn how much that we have in a slice of cheese and a slice of bread. You have to learn all this because the catering that I'm going to get going for you is going to be big. And you have to learn how to get up every day. I have proved that for 5 years. Every day. People hate it. But if you're going to get serious and you want to get rich, you got to do the work. And I'm offering you, and what I'm going to do is I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay there. What I want and what I need and what the addicts and alcoholics out here need is some real fucking recovery centers like I can get going and some people around me. We've already talked about this. We've got plans. And what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a little fund and put money into that fund while we're building the restaurant up, into the catering, into delivering. We don't need all that other stuff. We can deliver ourselves. We ain't paying nobody. We'll do it. Fuck them. They're making all the money. In the meantime, I'm building up something, and in 2 years, 3 years time, I'll have something going on to where I can buy some land. I can get a recovery center going, get a loan, get a grant, whatever. And then in time, what I'll do is I'll just, whatever we've built up there, I'll teach you how to structure that. I'll teach you how to keep it going the exact same way. I will teach you how to have real success. But here's the deal is I'll put a clause in it. Once I leave, y'all can do whatever you want to with it once I get it going for you. But I'm going to put a clause in it saying if you get to a certain sales, like a lower sales for the year, if you get below a certain point, then I come in and take it back over again, because that proves that you can't take care of shit. And that's just not a family, that's a business thing. And would I come back in and get it back up? Yes, I would. But I'd be like, well, you're going to have to sit down and go through one of my seminars. What seminar? One-on-one. Hardcore. Anybody that will tell you if they could, we'll write out everything that you have, and I will show you the fucking diagram that I give everybody, and you know what? It works for millionaires. An alcoholic actually sits down with millionaires and throws shit at them, and it fucking blows their mind. And they're like, man, damn, in time. And I said, yeah, I know in time. But right now, it's part of my journey. I got to struggle, But part of my journey, too, is not just calling out my family, but I love my family. This is more of like an intervention. This would give my mom her chance to connect with God, Christ, like she never has before. To see how far actually she has strayed, because she prayed for me. And others did, too. They said they got in a circle. Remember, when you pray for somebody, do not be upset for what you get. That's a selfish prayer, is to say, change them into what I want them to be. Because how do you know that you haven't been living a lie? How do you know that everything that you know is a lie, though? How do you know anything? Because most of you have been conditioned as mothers is to just stay in it. Stay in it, and you're never allowed to look at yourself, because the way that we are now, the spoiled generation or others, we're always constantly dependent on you, and you're always right there, which you shouldn't be. We have to learn how to grow up as a younger generation, and that shit is going away. Not just my mom, but the elders in the 60s and 70s, y'all are at an age in your life to where you should devote more of your time to your spiritual side and your higher power. You should be more involved in groups and and sharing the word, or whatever it is that you do. More involved in Sunday school, more whatever it is. You have to get going. You are going to miss the boat. You're going to miss the plane. You're going to miss it. I'm going to play God right here for a second. Those of you that own businesses or that, that do different things, and you know that it is out of hand, and you just can't stop doing it, because if you do, they'll crumble. I'm going to be God. And you just passed. And it's like, why should I allow you into paradise? And it's like, well, I did everything I could. And it's like, but look at what you left behind. You didn't even try to fix it. You didn't even try to say, hey, we got to work on this and this and this. You kept allowing it to get worse and worse and worse. And on top of that, people around you, which whenever they die, I'll handle them, allowed it to get worse as well. And I'm still God. You have to deny yourself in order to find me. You have to. You've got to cut your passions. And you say your business is more important than me. You're controlling everything is more important than me. You've got to give it all to me, child. That's what God says. But think about that. Think about the manager working 8 to 5 Monday through Friday with his wife. That'd be a good year. And my family don't get to offer that same offer. And then with my sister and my niece and nephew, we're going to sit down and I'm going to show you what it takes to put all these numbers together, and to put, a catering menu together, and to go out and to advertise and get a vehicle and sit down and say, we're going to start delivering food everywhere around here. DoorDash can kiss our ass. And I'm going to show you how to make money. But you don't get to go blow your fucking money. That's the whole thing is we are thrown out here in this society to where it's like, if you don't try to get rich as hell, and it's like, that's not what life is about. And in the process of doing all this, we're going to film it, certain parts of it, and we'll edit it, and then start a channel on YouTube. Think about that shit. Y'all could make money off of that. Some of y'all would be badass on YouTube, but this is a kick in the nuts. And it's, in the meantime, for the whole year, I will get the cooks in there. But the main thing is to show you consistency. We'll be able to hang with these big chains. And eventually, in 5 years, I could show you how to start another one. And have 2 or 3. Or buy the other ones in the zone and say, look, let me just buy you out. And then that way you've got the whole area. And then we have all the, in our zone, we have Sam's Club. And what we can do eventually is get some tea going. I've already brought this up, and we can sell our tea that we're known for within Sam's. We can sell it in the food cities. We can sell it in whatever stores that we have in our zone. We can make a route for the tea and shit and put it in the stores. It just takes time, and that is real talk. Everybody over there talks about leaving and doing something better, and that's so kicking my balls, because that tells me you don't want to work hard. That's something that we are so fortunate to have, and millions of people they would fucking die to be where we're at. But now it's time to actually grow up, and do the right thing, and ask mom, say, listen, do not ask them what their approval is on you about getting better and reconnecting with God more than you ever have. You might not ever get this chance again. So I beg you, decide very, very honestly. Decide on not what other people think. Decide on what's inside of you, because all that'll pan out. There'll be hysteria for a couple of months, but, a lot of cussing, but we'll film it. And then in time, people will see the progress of the individuals if they're willing to go, along with it. But if not, y'all are going to be in the same spot that you've been in for 30 years. And nothing will change. Nothing will. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And it's sad, and the only one that will suffer is Donna. And she's not the only one in the world going through this, because I've dealt with a lot of moms in the past 5 years dealing with stuff. With children running lives, and then, saying, look, we're not doing that and this. And then eventually the mom just collapses and says, all right, y'all just do whatever. And then they justify everything in an immature manner, because everything is supposedly right, and it's not. This is a chance for y'all to get out of that darkness that you're in and get going in life, you know, and rally behind an alcoholic. Now, everything I just said could happen, but I guarantee you this, at 99.5% of it, it will never happen. It will never happen. It will be in the same spot that it's in, and then I'm the one that'll have to leave because I love that place. I love doing what I do. I love getting there early. I love staying busy. I love, you know, staying connected. I do exercises on the bleachers so I can move faster within the kitchen at work. You know, I love talking with customers. I love making them happy. I cook everything. It's not pride. It's my craft. You know, that's what I have found out is when you make everything number one, you will find out that you have many crafts and you've been denied many faculties that helps you have those crafts. You can't come in there and work in the restaurant business always flooding your brain with medications and shopping fucking videos and everything else, and that's where your mind is all the time, and you can't concentrate. It's just like sports. People say, you're so stupid talking like that, and it's like, I'm not connected to this bullshit world like you are. I don't think about other shit. I think about how can we get better? You know, how can we grow today? Anyways, I love you.